Hello, chess fans. Today, we have a wonderful, wonderful, exciting match for you featuring the father of the controversial Andrew Tate. This is Emory Tate Jr. This guy at the time of playing this match was rated 2302, I believe. We're going to go through this match and just show you a bunch of highlights. We're going to do a couple of sidelines by the computer, but the main thing we want to look at with this game is the rule of to take as a mistake. Developing is very important. Delaying taking, just delay. Also, you're going to see a lot of intermezzo, which is your in-between move. So these are the things I want you to look out for as we go through this match. Match starts with e4. Opponent has chosen violent. They have chosen the Sicilian. Anytime you play the Sicilian, you're just ready to. You're playing for a win. You're not playing for a draw. So we get the typical opening here, and right here, Emory just shows his savagery. The computer here is asking for a development of the bishop, and Emory Tate is just showing pure savagery, just pushing this pawn. You know, he doesn't care if this diagonal is open on his king. The queen is here, so it's going to take her a couple of moves to even get out here. And at the very least, he can just play the simple pawn g3 move. So he's choosing savagery. Knight develops into the game. Obviously, you can take back. He chooses to develop. There's a pawn push, getting ready to kick the knight. And he chooses to develop the queen over the bishop. Again, computer is asking for a bishop move. Obviously, with the queen move, it's signaling he's going to castle. He's going to castle queenside, castling long. White bishop develops in, obviously trying to create some sort of scare tactics on the queen. He finally develops that land square bishop in. With the knight coming into the game, castles, bishop, and then you'll see this b1 move. This b1 move is fundamental. Anytime you castle long, there's this rule where it says at some point you're gonna have to play king b1, and the reason for that is this pawn tends to be loose, and this diagonal sometimes pops loose. Obviously, you see the open file already on this thing. And it gets tricky if you don't make that prophylaxis move early. Maybe he could have delayed longer, but that's typical in a castle long position. B4, as you see, opponent is playing to win here, pushing that pawn down. As you can see from the eval bar, white is still up a little bit. Simply just moves the knight out the way, and then here the opponent plays a first inaccuracy. E5. I'm sorry, D5. Attacking the middle. Emory cool and calmly plays E5. Kicking the knight out. Knight comes into the middle of the board. This is a nice square. This is a nice square for the knight to be sitting on. It's a really nice square, we have to say, even though there is a potential for some trades here. Queen would win this square, but after a discovered attack, the queen would be under fire, probably losing his pawn. So Emory does not take. He plays knight in. Now the knight can come into this square, and we can definitely control this square. So the opponent, being a wise man, vacates, gets out of dodge, gets out of the way, because that was about to be a dead piece. And in a one square, there's going to be a nice strong bishop on this square with the queen eyeing down this diagonal. It's going to be really hard to get that out of there. You can't push the pawn. It's got pawns in the way. So he jumps back. And then Emory chooses violence. Now, here's where we're going to go into some computer variations that were fascinating, to say the least. So the computer variation goes knight h5, attacking the g7 pawn. Now, here's where we're going to get crazy on the evaluations. On the variations, computer just wants to castle long and let him take that pawn. That's what the computer said. That's what black has to do. As you can see, there's a 1 point advantage now for white. judging by the eval bars you see. But let's get into the dirty variant. So what if after knight h5, knight takes d3d? Well, you go ahead and proceed with knight check. Knight 1 in g7, check on the king. If the king slides over, that's a massive blunder, automatically winning. Knight takes. This is a check with a beautiful kitchen fork. When you take back with the pawn, check again. The queen, that's a royal. That's just a royal fork. Okay. So this knight h5 move is savage. What if the opponent, after knight g7, knight h5, knight g7, we're talking about all the moves following knight takes d3. So then you have a king f8 variation we just went over, and then there's a king d7 variation, which continues with pawn takes. And this is where it gets crazy. After pawn take, black sacks a pawn here. And there's several blunders for white. There's two blunders for white. The main one is knight takes, and this is going to even out the position, because what's happening now is after this pawn push, this bishop's about to attack the queen. Bishop has to drop back. Knight comes in. This is a discovered attack on the queen. The queen's got to drop back, and then a savage move. Knight sack on a2. If you take back, well, guess what? You lose a piece because of this savagery, this pin. Now you got to get the king out of dodge. A lot of heat is coming. Obviously, you know that queen was coming for the check with the knight being pinned. Creating squares. This knight is going to fall, and we just take that. You can't take with the knight. And if you take with the pawn, if a takes b3, still a mistake. White's up a point. The knight simply comes in. And if you try something like this, attacking the queen, well, again, blunder. Coming in on the a file, looking for the checkmate. The only thing you can do is sack this rook here. It's the only thing you can do, because after queen comes, check, king plays to c1, queen comes here, the king comes here. Obviously, we're losing the rook without, thinking about other issues, right? We're always trying to find checkmate, maybe this mating pattern, who knows, right? So, yeah, so you're always looking for those types of things. So the game continues with check. And then you see the rook move here to g1, basically saying, all right, fine, let's keep my rook protected at the very least, because I'm going to lose this rook to the pawn take. So you can't take with that one. Let's go back. So we can't take with the knight. We can't take with the pawn. B3. Okay, we're here. B3. Sorry, hold on. So many variations. A takes B3 is no good. So then you have the correct move is actually rook C1. Eyeing down the queen, obviously, getting the rook on the open file, and allowing B takes A2. This is very instructional for beginner players. When you slide over, essentially the opponent's pawn is helping you play defense. It's just blocking any potential for the queen. Queen can't take its own piece. Game continues. Obviously, kicking the knight out. I'm going to get some savagery, some blood. We're just going to play chess here. Pawn trade. We're going to bring the queen into the 7th rank. Win another pawn. And this is just up for white. As you can see from eval bar 6.1. I just want to go through those variations. All of those variations come from knight h5. Savage move by the computer. Unfortunately, Emory did not play that. Emory decided violence. He said, we're going to liquidate the pieces. Let's liquidate. So he's liquidated the pieces. This clears up any confusion. Who knows, what type of time clock they were using. Then he plays F5. Obviously, he's trying to jostle, annoy his opponent, open things up. Let's get things open here. Opponent castles. That is a mistake. Apparently, supposed to play Queen E7. Worried about this very vital square. What else is this doing? I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're worried about the Queen 7, this square here, because let's see. Let's calculate. So pawn take, pawn take, pawn takes. And then what happens there? You can't take queen. Well, that's your homework. That's your homework for this variation. But this is what the computer's asking for. Computer's asking for, and it's saying the best move for white actually is knight h5. Again, knight h5 coming in for this pawn. And maybe that's what this queen is all about. Drop it here. What's the computer saying? Computer saying e6. So anyway, let's not get too sidetracked from the main game. So the opponent makes a mistake and castle. Again, the computer is calling for savagery with knight h5. Computer just loves knight h5. Wants to come in. So we'll revisit that. Emory is looking at, this is a mistake. But again, when you're playing a computer, not all things are mistakes. When you're playing against a human, not all things are mistakes. Because a human can't see everything like a computer. So this is very instructional, where you bring both rooks to the center of the board. Right? That's just instruction. That's all that is. Also, you'll see how this rook comes into the game later. So the game continues with another mistake. Pawn takes f5. He plays knight takes f5. Again, the computer says, ignore this pawn. We're going to win this pawn anyway. Bring the knight to h5. Let's put some pressure on that d7 pawn. Emory do that. In fact, the computer here wanted f6. Now, Ben Feingold says never play f6. The computer says otherwise. The computer says we have to stop this threat of f6. So we'll play f6 first, and the variation continues on like so. And apparently this is close to even for black. Close to even. Looks very scary. Looks very scary. Queen are just in time. The rook is just in time. Even the bishop can come into the game, maybe play some defense. That vital f7 square. There's no dark square bishop. Emory has traded that one off. So here we are. Here we are. Anyway, let's go back to the main game. Knight takes. Then he plays another mistake. Rook. C8. And then Emory finally plays. Let's take the arrow off. Sorry. Emory finally plays this move here. Knight takes g7. Just full on savage. Sack the knight. Now here we're going to have to go into some variations. King take g7 is a mistake. Apparently, you got to just let that happen. You got to let that knight sit there. You can't take back. We'll walk into why you can't take back. Let's go into the variations. We got the B3 variation, which says, ignore this knight. Act like this didn't happen. Let's go on the offensive. Let's disrupt things here around the king. Let's see if we can force a mistake out of our opponent. It's just, and then white can just simply Play calmly again, bringing the knight over, the king over here. Not taking, because taking is just going to open things up. Just saying, okay, I'll use your pawn to help me play defense. And then we just play chess. Obviously here we have the discovered attack. King has to vacate that square, otherwise the knight's going to come in for the savage attack on the queen or some other move. I would even venture to say, oh no, it doesn't work. I wanted to bring the knight here to block and then get this wonderful mate. So the game would just continue like so. Okay. The other variation is bishop. Again, ignoring the knight, bringing the bishop in, trying to get some counterplay. You're still lost. You see the eval bar in white's favor. But anything is, well, not anything, but those two variations are much better than what was played in the game. Inaccuracy. I mean, either way you lose. Just you're losing even worse here. King check, and then he plays this savage move. Savage. E6. E6 is just ready to infiltrate. Plays bishop d4. Now here, Emory makes a bit of an inaccuracy and immediately takes back. Now, it's not a bad move. It's just that you can play intermezzo. Remember we were talking about intermezzo, in-between moves? So there's an in-between move here where we can actually play first queen e7 check. Queen obviously can't take back as well. You lose the queen. Okay? You can't do that. So what must be played is king must slide over to e8, and then now you take the bishop. Obviously, queen can't take because, well, you just lose the queen. Okay? So again, lessons in what are the in-between moves? Is, don't just be so ready to take. Look for the in-between move. So anyway, Emory takes. Still winning. Up 9 points. Pawn take. And then he could have taken here. But being the savage that he is, calmly plays rook. F1. Check on the king. But again, he could have taken the rook. The computer wanted him to take. He could have taken the pawn. The computer wanted him to take that pawn. He did not. He chose not to. He said, I don't even want that pawn. You can keep that stinking pawn. King slides over. G8. Now we have the rook lift. This is the Luft. Rook Luft. That's German for lift. You bring the rook in and you want to slide him over. And the opponent, trying to get some counterplay here, plays this move, obviously protected by the queen, attacks the queen. And here, Emory plays an inaccuracy queen check, which isn't a bad move per se. But the computer wants to go into a savage variation. Bishop takes h7. Now we got to go down these variations really fast. You have the queen takes variation, which leads to check first, intermezzo. Now we win back the pawn. Queen slides over. What do we do? Check. Check. Obviously, winning the queen, but we don't care about that. Check. And then watch this. Check. Take. And that's just winning. Then we have another variation where the king takes. Wait, is that all the queen variation? Yeah, that's the queen variation. Then we have the king takes variation. It's queen check. Oh, this is the one I like. Queen check again. Queen block. Queen check again on the diagonal. King comes over. Now we check with the rook. Obviously, he's not going to want to protect with the queen, but he has to. He has no choice. Now, a rookie would take this queen. That's what a rookie would. Computer says no. Intermezzo, check. King slides over. Check one more time. Only move. Queen block. Obviously, queen can't come here because that would just mate immediately. So queen slides in. Now we get our check. Moral of the story is intermezzo, people. In between move. Always look for it. Anyway, we don't get the savage b4 variation. Get that, unfortunately. So we get the queen check, queen block, and then he plays the savage. Bishop h7 check. Obviously, the queen can't take. Queen's pinned. Only move. I can't say only. I'm sure he could take back with king, but that would. Actually, let's look at that variation. That leads here. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the main variation. Sorry. Computer variation says king h8. And then queen. This is what the computer's calling. We're not going to get too deep in the weeds here. Emory plays a mistake. Computer calls it a blunder. I mean, either way, he's winning. There's nothing the opponent can do here. The move the computer wanted was rook h3. Now pay attention here. This is very interesting. Again, watch the check on the diagonal. Check. Queen slides over. We're going to take here, and this is an interesting take because now we're threatening mate. Put the red circle there. Represent violence, blood, mate. Nothing the king can do about that. So the queen slides over, stopping the diagonal. Now we can play. Now we can play this move. We're not. First, savagery, check, intermezzo, in between move. And then we get another check from the rook, another check from the queen. Now we bring the second rook into the game. This is where things start to fall apart. Now you would think, oh yeah, we would just take the queen. No, no, no. Intermezzo once again. Check. King slides in. Now the queen wins. That is mate. That is mate. That is just mate. Instead, the opponent gives up after king g8, rook g3. Obviously, lose queen. I mean, I guess the game would continue something. And then we'd play on from here. I don't know exactly what to play from here. Would we take the pawn? Slide in for check first? I think we'd probably slide in. I'm not a fan of taking this pawn. I think we play check. Let's see what the computer says. Oh, I'm sorry, it's black. So black play. Computer says black here. And what do we play? Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes that. One in the rook. Computer says mate in 14. Anyway, you guys can see some of the savagery from Emory Tate, Andrew Tate's pops. Study these games. Subscribe to the channel. We got more coming soon. Make sure you guys go to the Master Focus website. If you go to the Master Focus website, I will reduce your membership, your subscription for all clients that watch our YouTube channel. Just type in Master Focus Chess or Chess YouTube, just so I know you guys came from YouTube. And then I will drastically reduce your subscription on your Master Focus. This is going to give you enhanced focus and concentration. Oh, I like that. And go read the details on the website, trymasterfocus.com. But like I said, if you get a subscription, all of our clients that come from our YouTube channel, I will manually go in. If you send me a message on the website as a contact form, or after you purchase your subscription, I will go in and I will drastically reduce the price of the subscription because you watched our YouTube channel. We take care of our YouTube subscribers. Until the next time, folks.
Didn't listen to me then, I bet they feel me now. Time don't let me lose it. The booth not about to prove it. I set goals and pursue it. You the best to never do it. Invest my money talking fluent, stupid, ducking the Judas. It broke my heart, but open my eyes. You have no honor, I have no choice. Chasing the commas till I'm gone. I've been left for a minute. On my way home, mama, I promise, got caught up in it. Damn. Everybody eats when I'm batting at the plate. First, second, third, home, $1 million bet.